Hi everybody, this is Professor Couture. It's Sunday, November 3rd, around 3:15. I'm checking in a little bit belatedly. I had my first grandchild was born this morning, and I have been pulled in a few directions, but I am here, and I wanted to give you a introduction or a segue from rational choice theory into the trait theories, and then a brief introduction into where we'll be going after that, which is sociological theories of crime. So the first thing I want to do is call your attention to, I'm in Blackboard right now. I'm going down to the file which says Essential Resources. I'm going to open the file that says Criminological Theories, Outline, and Summary. That's where we're going to begin. In my conference with most of you, either using Blackboard Collaborate or sometimes by phone, or a few times I've been able to meet with students who are on campus, which has worked out really well. I've tried to draw your attention to the importance of this particular resource. It is organized in the order in which we covered material. We did victims and crime victimization in Chapter 3. We covered rational choice theory in Chapter 4. You did several assignments on rational choice theory and hopefully have a good sense coming away from that rational choice theory is appealing because it's simple. It suggests that choice is the underlying predictor of crime, and that individuals will choose crime over law-abiding behavior if they sense that the benefits of committing crime outweigh the costs, which would be the likelihood of being caught, prosecuted, and severely punished. So as we learned in rational choice theory, law-violating behavior is thought to occur as a process of rational thinking by human beings who stop and think, should I or shouldn't I? And the assumption is that people will commit a crime if they perceive those benefits outweigh the risks. If punishment is severe enough, criminals will not repeat their illegal acts. That's called specific deterrence. And another concept, a key concept in rational choice theory is the idea that people will be generally deterred. They will be less likely to commit crime if they perceive that they are likely to be apprehended, and that the severity, certainty, and speed of punishment outweighs the benefits. So rational choice theory is simplistic. It is, okay, so you thought about it, you did the crime, you have to do the time. That rational choice theory really has undergirded our crime control policies, particularly in the context of use of incarceration to punish and incapacitate individuals who commit crime based upon the underlying assumption that all people are capable of rational choice and, in fact, able and willing to engage in a deliberative process, rationally thinking about whether or not committing crime is a good idea. Rational choice theory has been part of our criminology for quite some time. However, it is not certainly attractive because it's simplistic, but it's not the only theory. Moving away from rational choice theory, the first cluster of crime theories that you are engaging with in Chapter 5 are biological and biosocial trait theories. These theories come from a very different perspective than rational choice that explains crime not as simply a matter of individual choice, but rather that there's something more than just choice. So if you think of the word positivism in the context of positivist criminology, it is not meant to be positive as in a good thing. It means something in addition to. positive numbers. You're adding something to someone's thinking process, whether that process is rational or not. And as such, the positivist trait theories focus on biological, psychological, or social forces that may impact, even prohibit, rationality and free will. I'm going to take us now to the biological and social trait theories, which start on page 48 of this document. As is going to be the approach throughout the rest of the semester. At the start of each chapter, there's a visual summary, and I apologize that it is not easier to see. The editor of the textbook and the the graphics people did the best they could to make it available in a format that might be helpful to us. So what we will see is biological trait theories. There are a number of biological trait theory is a category. Psychological trait theory is a category. And within each of those broad categories, there are groups or branches, and within each group or branch, there's a subgroup. So I'm going to first start with the biological and biosocial trait theories. Biological refers to certain biological, physical, it's something inside the individual. And we will see that there are several groups or branches of biological trait theories. Biosocial trait theory looks at both psychological, biological, and social factors coming into play and impacting on the criminality that a person may engage with. It's important to remember here that there is no one crime theory that explains all crime. There is no one crime theory that explains all criminals. There are different theories, and it is oftentimes the case that one particular set of criminal behavior may have pieces of a number of different categories of crime theories. And I know that makes it difficult because there's not always a single right answer, but that is the reality and the fact of the matter, the beauty, in a sense, of crime theory. You see them on page 53. And so the structure of all of the chapters that are covered in this criminological theories outline in summary is it starts with the visual overview, then there's an outline of the chapter, then a definition of the category, and then a discussion of the groups or the branches within that category. So within the biological or biosocial trait theory category, we have biochemical conditions, which are described here. And within the biochemical condition group or branch, we have some subgroups or specific theories. So falling under the biochemical conditions group or branch of the category called biological or biosocial trait theories are diet, nutrition, that includes hypoglycemia, chemical and mineral imbalances, as may be occurring naturally or unnaturally through toxins such as mercury. Lead is a very well recognized and studied chemical or mineral that has significant impact on brain and development, decision making, and including engaging in delinquent and criminal acts. Hormones are also within the specific theories that fall under the biochemical group or branch of biological or biosocial trait theories, and those are hormones that are most prominent in males and those that are most prominent in females. The second group within the biological or biosocial trait theories is neurophysiological or neurodevelopment. This has to do with brain structure, the function, and the activity of the brain and the nervous system. Pretty heavy stuff. But with the advent of sophisticated imaging, medical technology devices, neurologists, neurophysiologists, neuropsychologists, and others are able to actually look inside the brain and detect where the brain is either typical or atypical in structure as well as in function. And so MRIs, CAT scans, functional MRIs, PET scans, SPECT scans, beams and squids, those are all types of imaging technology which is used to help diagnose individuals with a neurophysiological condition or disorder. There are within that group or branch 6 types of neurophysiological or neurodevelopment conditions or disorders. One is prenatal, perinatal, and birth complications. Children who, for example, may have had injury prenatally or during the birth process. Brain chemistry, including arousal theory, comes within the neurophysiological and neurodevelopment conditions subgroup. There are a cluster of specific subgroups, and specific theories connected to the neurophysiological conditions and disorders. Those are intellectual disabilities, attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, conduct disorder, learning disorders, autism spectrum disorders, Tourette's syndrome. Those are all specific examples or types of neurodevelopment conditions associated with reduced executive functioning, that part of the brain designed for decision making, rational thinking, problem solving, critical thinking. For any one of these disorders is related to an atypical executive functioning level, which does correlate or put a person at risk or higher risk of criminality. Okay, let's see. EEGs and other technology actually shows the brain structure. Your textbook has some pictures that show you a, quote, typical or normal brain versus an atypical. Neurocognitive deficits include, can result from injury or illness, someone who suffers a stroke, brain tumors, lesions, cancer, injuries or disease can all impact on brain functioning. The third group or branch within biosocial or biological trait theories is genetics. And here the focus is on the genetic makeup of an individual that may predispose that person to criminality, delinquency, and antisocial behavior. Genetic or behavioral genetics looks at and studies parental deviance, so individuals whose parents have been involved in criminal activity and children who themselves have become involved in criminal activity. Twin studies look at evidence of a genetic role in increased risk of criminality comes from studies examining twins or non-twin siblings who've been adopted out into different families soon after or even at birth. So in the case of identical twins, the issue is there's identical genetic makeup, and is the behavior of the two twins who are raised in separate households different or the same? And those same studies can be done with siblings.